Hey guys, welcome back to the Cosmic Panel, where today we want to say that Elias took another L with his MacBook.
Yeah, they were really after us with this video too.
Yeah, we tried recording this yesterday and technology said no. We tried recording this today and we fought back. Obviously, the big companies don't want us talking about this show, and that show is
Kingpin.
Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah, Kingpin was out to get us.
Yeah, no, he shut off our electricity. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, Daredevil Born Again. If you guys don't know, it is a weird sequel slash spiritual successor to the Netflix show that had 3 seasons. I say spiritual slash like sequel because it brings up a lot of elements that were from the original, but also disregards a lot of it also at the same time. It's an interesting meld. But before we get into that, just want to say like, subscribe, comment down below what you think about the show. I'm sure there's going to be so many differing opinions on this show specifically. And yeah, let's get right into it. So, Balti, what did you think?
I think the first thing I want to say, and I think is overall, I like the show.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty let's start that out.
That's my hot take.
If you have not watched the show, I think you should watch it.
Yeah.
I think you should watch it whether you've watched the Netflix show, because I think you'll still get it. And I think if you enjoy the Netflix show, you should still watch it.
Yeah. It's not exactly the same, but that's better and worse in some ways.
It's a little bit worse than... Okay, so the highs are high, the lows are low. I would say the high points of it can hit the highs of season 1. The lows of it can hit the lows of season 2 of the original show. Nothing, in my opinion, is hitting season 3, because season 3 is just like some of the best superhero like television I've ever seen, period. Like that's... But the fact that it's even competing with season 1 is saying a lot.
I mean, even
season 1 was really good.
Even season 2 is a good show.
It's not bad.
Like, it's not like as good as the other two, but it's still a good watchable show. You know, competing with and even being better than season 2 is still a pretty high bar.
Yeah, I think season 2 faces a lot of problems that this show has, which is writing problems, pacing problems.
Yeah, and
in season 2 they were trying to balance the Frank Castle plotline with Elektra, and it just became way too much.
Coherent vision is a big problem for both season 2 and this show. This show is a lot like season 2 in some ways.
Yeah.
And
so
I know I was bugging you about it last time, that I really want to get through the making of this show, because I feel like that is something that is so... Once you know about that, a lot of stuff is so transparently clear as to why the show is the way it is. Again, for better or for worse, a lot of stuff makes sense. So originally, this show, MCU show, was, as we all know, they brought back Daredevil Born Again. They're bringing back Charlie Cox. They're bringing back Vincent D'Onofrio. Everyone was very excited. We heard nothing about it. Well, we heard rumors about it, and then randomly, I think it was
this
it
was announced
year?
The time that Armor Wars got announced too. Which
man,
I wonder where Armor Wars is. Where's that Don Cheadle?
Yeah, picture yourself in the... Oh god, I don't remember what year it was, but
it has to be 2019, right?
Yeah,
like
2019. After Endgame, when they were just like, all right,
we
guys,
just did our victory lap.
A million projects. We got a million logos. The graphic designers went crazy. They got their bonus. But we all don't actually have any plan for anything.
Yeah, half of these shows are going to get canceled in like a year.
And then fast forward to like, I think early last year. Again, I am horrible with dates. But all of a sudden, it starts coming out that a bunch of those shows were canceled. And Daredevil, Kevin Feige watched it. And it was apparently such a mess that Kevin Feige, the guy who has approved a lot of slop, for lack of a better word, said, no, this is too far. Yeah, he said, this is too far. He fired every single person who worked on it. And even like, I knew some people who were just like, just like crew members, like drivers and stuff. Everyone got fired.
Really?
And
I didn't know about that.
Like top to bottom, everyone got fired, and complete new stuff came in. And we found out with the older Marvel shows, they didn't have like showrunners. They didn't have script Bibles, a lot of stuff. And they brought in the showrunner, one of the showrunners who did the Punisher show, and some other people, and they said, we're redoing this because the original story had no Foggy or Karen, had nothing from the
Man,
Netflix
the
show.
you're telling me the old showrunner of Punisher came
Yeah.
in? Man, I would have never been able to tell.
Yeah, a little playing favorites, but yeah, because apparently the old show was just so far from it was barely even like it wasn't even like a spiritual successor. It was just a completely different
Reboot.
thing that happened to have two of the same actors and not the rest. And so they redid it. And so this show, as I found out kind of recently, like midway through the season, this show is split up a little strangely where they only had like a year to do the rest, to redo the show, a year or a year and a half. And they had to use a lot of the old footage and a lot of the old story because that's just how it goes. Marvel spends $1 trillion on this one thing. You got to use it, and you don't have enough time to redo a whole show. And so how it works is that episode 1, 8, and 9 are brand new.
Yeah.
Completely ground up, brand new from the new people. The other ones are mostly the same. They reshot a couple things. They added a couple scenes.
Just to give it
Reordered
context.
it, but it's mostly the original story that was everyone got fired for. So that to me feels very like you can tell which episodes are which. Like even before I saw the confirmation where the showrunner was like, yeah, these episodes were new, these episodes weren't, I was like, oh yeah, these episodes are totally like made by different people. Like it just felt like a different vibe and everything. And that's not to say the old ones were bad, and honestly, props to those people for in a year turning what was apparently like unwatchable garbage to like a decently good show. Props to them.
Yeah.
But there's a couple problems which we'll get into. But
yeah, so I wanted to say though, wasn't season 2 filmed at the same time though? From what I understand.
I think maybe not at the same time, but I think right after, like they went right into it.
Yeah,
went,
so that's
we
real.
know we're doing
that's a concern.
Yeah,
that is a concern depending on how much they have to reshoot. Just because, like, I mean, they only have a year. This is coming out next year, around the same time, next May.
And I feel like that may be why they were kind of light on reshooting stuff this season. Because my hope is that
they were spending it all for next season.
Yeah, my hope is that they're like, look, we can do minimal work to this season. It's next season that we really need to. If we land that, then we'll be fine for this season. I hope, at least. I hope, because again, this was good, but there were some problems that I just really hope that they fixed.
Yeah. So let's go over the first episode.
Yeah.
So the first episode, to me, I really didn't like.
Yeah, I didn't love it.
Like, even in retrospect, I really didn't like this first episode because of how it felt like two episodes that were Frankenstein together, and you could tell which ones were previously recorded stuff and what was newly added stuff.
Well, it felt like so much of, oh my god, they messed up and we have to fix it all in one episode. They didn't have Foggy and Karen, so not only do we have to bring them in, but we also have to explain why they're not going to be in any of the other episodes.
Also, why the fuck did the showrunners think that was even a smart idea in the first place?
Bring them in or not bring them in?
Not bring them in.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Why would you not include literally any of the characters from the... Like, the whole thing that everyone's excited is to see this iteration of this character brought fully into the MCU.
Yeah.
With his supporting cast.
That's why I wish Elias was here to talk about it, because he never watched the original show. So I wonder what he probably wasn't so upset about it.
Yeah.
But that also probably makes that first episode feel weirder if they're just introducing
you don't have any
characters.
Attachment to Foggy at all. Like,
introducing new characters, making such a big dramatic thing, and then not having them come back is like, for the new people, that's crazy. Much less for us we know who they are.
Yeah. No. I was gonna say, I felt weird how they introduced a lot of characters and acted like we should know them very easily, like Sherry and like
the other
Heather
cop,
and like
name is
not even Heather. Just Heather. The what's the other cop?
One that was Sherry's partner that was like,
you know who I'm talking about though, right?
Asian lady who looks really mean looking.
No. Cherry is Sherry is the cop,
the guy, like the detective who quits day one, and then the other lady, and then also the lawyer lady. Like, they introduced a lot of people that, again, that felt very much like filmed after the whole season, where like they forgot that we wouldn't know them at that point. Like, the writers were like, "Oh yeah, we know them. We'll put them in." And then it's like the audience doesn't know who the fuck these people are. You're just being
Yeah,
like,
they didn't give me a moment where I was like, it's this person. Okay, got it. Okay, I
also
got I
like,
got the Kirsten.
yes,
So yeah, like the fact that I even have to like I literally had to scroll down to even like
yeah,
figure out her name really goes to
yeah,
show like they don't even take the time to really introduce them well,
no,
and
and they
they kind of just ham fist their way past like getting Foggy and Karen out of the show.
yeah, and they just kind of and the most frustrating part is they just kind of fill roles that they already had with the
Yeah,
other
it's literally the same
characters.
roles. Like
Like,
Karen could have been Kirsten.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that literally could have been it.
or Foggy could have been had he been, like,
Yeah.
lawyer friend who goes, "Hey dude, you're acting crazy," is
Or
literally like,
Sherry could have
yeah,
literally been
yeah,
Karen. Like it's not that crazy. Like
yeah,
and also like you had the whole like the end of season 3. In my opinion, the end of season 3 made perfect like was like such an easy launching off point because it goes what was it? Nelson, Murdoch, and Paige.
yeah.
And it ends with them having a firm together, and then it ends, and you're like,
You
okay,
could have had that,
you
and
could
you
have
could have
literally just
had
started
like,
there.
and then you could have had it with the way it is in the show, where that whatever fancy ass law firm that he has, which
Yeah,
I do want to talk about that law firm because
that
there's a little
feels
bit of a weird cognitive thing going on
yeah, that feels
again with the
so
first show. But
yeah,
you could have had that be Foggy, Nelson, and Page, and just be like, wow, they got really big.
yeah.
Like,
So the thing with episode 1, first thing my biggest gripe, the fight scene is ass. I hated that fight scene.
yeah.
Not only because you could tell that the choreography was so rushed, there were so many. It reminded me of Christian Bale during the Dark Knight
Oh, the whole
Rises,
like
where
waiting to
he's like
punch
people are
thing.
yeah, where he's like punching and literally people are not reacting on time.
Yeah.
And the knives being full CG just completely took me out. Like the
Yeah.
great thing about the original Bullseye fights where there was so much impact. Every time he threw a fucking thing, you were
Yeah.
genuinely terrified. Like he would
Yeah.
throw a snow globe and then a pencil, and you'd be like, "Oh God, how is he gonna kill this guy?"
And to like fast forward to, what was it, episode 8, when he escapes the prison with his
That's way
tooth.
better. That was way
That was way
better.
better.
That was
That was
way
way
better.
better.
Like when he
And that
started
was CG
throwing,
too. That was totally CG. He
yeah,
obviously
like
didn't
it's
fucking spit a
had
tooth
more
at Mach
impact.
speed. Yeah, like, it's just the way that you direct that and the way that you,
Well, it's also because it was a oneer too. That
yeah,
doesn't help it either. The fact that it's a oneer, so that means that like you can't even cut in between to like give it the like
yeah. And
motion of like impact.
look, I get it. You want to have the Daredevil hallway oneer. You want to do it.
You
Don't
gotta
do it
earn it,
in
my
your
guy.
clearly rushed episode. Don't do it. But you know what I think? I think the other problem is that, not problem. I think the other thing with that is that it was definitely to buy time. That's like like a fucking 3-4 minute scene. Like, that's a
Yeah.
long oneer that they probably did because they didn't have to write.
But
You
also, like,
know?
even if the oneer was like, even if they wanted to do that, why the fucking smoke? Like, the smoke completely also hides like the
Yeah.
literal point of the scene. At least in the bar section, it's like you literally can't see them fighting.
The
And what
bar.
little parts you do is just like literally like you can tell they're missing, and so it's like
The bar is also upsetting to me as someone who watched the first show. That was not Josie's bar. Josie's bar was not
yeah, no,
a
very
cop bar.
much
It did
not.
not look the same. It was not a cop friendly bar. It was not. It was not. You have all the cops hanging out celebrating retirement or whatever, and all the lawyers hanging out. That was the whole point. Is that it was the shittiest place in all of Hell's Kitchen,
Yeah, literally.
where the worst people go to. You do not have a whole thing of detectives and lawyers and the
Well,
like a
I
like
mean,
deputy DA and stuff.
hey, you're saying the shittiest people attend there. I mean, it's lawyers and cops. I mean,
Yeah.
but,
But like, that that was weird. And there was a lot of, and I get they explained it later, but there was also a lot of like, in the up like, don't save it for the last 2 episodes to have Bullseye come in and massacre everyone and not even reference it in any other episode, because the ending of season 3, they were kind of cool with each other. They were not like friends, but Daredevil and Bullseye kind of had a little bit of a truce going on, where they were like, look, our beef is not really with each other, it's with Kingpin now.
Yeah,
and
but then
Matt
he got in the
stopped him.
way. Yeah,
Matt stopped, but it didn't feel to me, at least,
also,
like
they didn't explain how the fuck his back got fixed. They didn't explain,
yeah,
like, that was also a thing. It was like the whole point was like his eye had like a bullseye at the end of the season
yeah,
3. It
like
was like give me something,
yeah,
because I like that actor too. He's so good.
he's really good, and
Also, man, you
Bullseye's a
could tell
really
he was not built like he hadn't hit that MCU like
yeah,
strength routine in that first episode, because like by the eighth and ninth episode he's swole again, and it's like, okay, you were
yeah,
so skinny last time. What happened? Man, I guess prison really does make you bulk.
yeah, and then like, what did that episode like cut to Matt being like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna be Daredevil again, which was impactful. Like trying to kill
Yes.
him, losing Foggy, and then trying to kill him was a good reason
I
because
like that he didn't actually succeed in killing him
yes,
either. Like
yeah,
that makes him almost feel, it's like, no, you still have to live with the repercussions.
yeah, you have to live with knowing that you would have,
Yeah. But also, yeah,
knowing
no,
that it wasn't up to you.
the second half of the episode is so, the thing that should have been is that the first episode should have literally just ended with Foggy's death. Like, you
Yeah,
should have been like a whole, like, you should have had a whole thing introducing the court case for Foggy, which later becomes important.
yeah,
You should have like expanded on that so that we know the backstory behind it, and then you get to the ending, and then Foggy's dead, and then Matt
yeah.
throws him, and then you could just cut there,
Also,
and
the
that would have
whole
hooked
Matt,
everyone.
the whole Matt not wanting to be Daredevil
I actually really like it.
happened. I liked it, but it happened already. That was
True,
the
but
first
like, I mean,
like half of season 3.
yeah, but like, I get it. It's just like, well, this time it was more spurred on because he almost killed someone, and it's
Yeah,
like, okay, this makes sense.
that's why I was like, okay, I'll put
I
up
was
with
fine.
it because
I
they
was
gave
fine
a
with
good
it.
reason. It wasn't just another like we're
Also,
just
they
rehashing some
stuck to it,
territory. Yeah, and they did stick to it, and
which in my opinion was actually the right decision.
yeah,
But wait, let's talk about the second half of the
yeah,
first episode. And then they
Fisk's
just
thing.
basically cut to Wilson Fisk saying he's running for mayor, and then he wins that night, and it's like,
Yeah,
what?
they just fast forwarded through all of that, which
It's like,
again,
bro, like the whole thing that we love about Kingpin is his rise to power.
yeah, and his plan and his the whole thing is like the sort of like, we know Kingpin is doing something. Every single season we know Kingpin's doing something. Even season 2 when Kingpin wasn't even really around, like he was
Yeah, he
still
was
making
just in the
moves.
prison plotting. Like,
Yeah, like it's always,
he
and
plans.
you didn't really get that. You just kind of get like,
no, he's running by like the he's
He's a good
literally
guy
going
now?
spur of the moment, and it's
yeah,
like
he's a
so
spur
weird.
of the moment, and he's a good guy now, which I get. The whole thing is like, oh, Kingpin's not really a good guy, he's just acting. But the whole point of a show is you have to sort of give us those hints, or else like we have no choice but to believe him. Like, I genuinely was like, couldn't tell if Kingpin was like genuinely a changed politician,
Well,
or
I
if it
think
was
that's
a
what
scheme.
they were trying to go for, because I think that he didn't know, or
Yeah,
he. But like the thing
it
is
just
that like
felt like,
it felt very hollow, because like the fact that like, yeah, no, I would have preferred to see. I would have preferred if the first season ended with him getting elected.
yeah,
That
and
would have
like,
been a great like lead
look,
into another season.
I'm sorry, but like, why is he suddenly like, that's why it felt hollow, is because I get that they were trying to trick us into thinking maybe he changed, but it doesn't make sense when he spent Daredevil being nothing but evil, then he spent Hawkeye being evil, then he spent Echo being evil, and all of a sudden now is when he changed. Like, it felt very like he's
Echo gave
obviously
him
gonna gave
white
him
savior
the,
guilt.
yeah, she did the knockoff vengeance, knockoff,
Yeah, the penance stare.
the penance stare, yeah.
She gave him a penance stare, and he was like, "Man, I'm an awful person. I should
Yeah,
run for mayor."
but then it like wasn't. It was just such a weird. And so for so much of this season, I was just like, I was kind of just, what's happening? Like, no one has a reason to do things. Like,
So I think this is where you and I are going to disagree. I kind of like the aimlessness of it for a bit of it, just because for me it felt more natural. Weirdly enough, because like in real life, I mean, that's what happens. Like it felt more like, no, Matt's just literally living. He's going through the motions because he doesn't know what to do with his life.
yeah, but
And that's what it kind of felt like to me, because he didn't have the rigidity of Daredevil being a part of his life anymore.
But he wasn't upset about it for a lot of the time until like episode 4, when White Tiger dies. Does he go, oh man, stuff's... Then like for a year he's just cool with it. Like he's sad his friend died, but he's not sad he's not Daredevil anymore. Like the first episode, he's just kind of cool with it. He seems to be thriving. He's got a massive law firm that also does good, which was the whole thing in the original show. Like him and Foggy always arguing.
Make money off of doing good, but somehow they cracked the code, guys. They did it. They got the infinite money.
I guess it must have been Foggy's problem, because once he died, they figured it out.
Foggy was spending too much money on the whiskey, man. He was hitting the bottle a little too much, too free.
Yeah, that's why.
I mean, bro, those victory bottles cost a lot, and man, they were winning constantly. So I mean,
yeah.
Bro, he was just constantly cracking open a new one every case.
Barely got paid for those wins, so that was all their
that was all their income going right into the whiskey bottles.
Yeah. So then episode 1 is cool. He's thriving. Episode 2, he gets a new client. It's a little suspicious, but like he's not upset about not being Daredevil again. If anything, he's really like arguing against it. The few people who know him who are talking about it, like, or I think episode 1, Karen says something about it, and he's just like, no, I'm not gonna be Daredevil again. Like he had no interest, and I feel like for me at least, it would have been a little stronger if he was struggling with it, like a sort of like they do this
back and forth.
Yeah, they do this thing in Batman all the time. Whenever he like he can't not be Batman.
Well, they do that through this season though, like consistently.
But it doesn't feel as like, again, like for 3 of the 9 episodes, for a third of the show, he just doesn't seem to have a problem with it. He's just like kind of cool with it until White Tiger dies, and then he's like, maybe.
But I think that's why it's the wake up call that like he should have been like paying more attention.
But then there's still another.
Because it really goes to show that in less than a year, the cops have suddenly built a Punisher cult. And now Wilson became mayor in like less than a year.
But then like, there's still everything 2 episodes until he actually goes full Daredevil mode. Like there's a couple things, him protecting the witness and him doing the bank episode of like, you know, with Miss Marvel's dad. Like there's a couple minutes where he beats some people up, but he's not going full Daredevil. It's just kind of like he happens to be in a place where he needs to beat some people up.
So let's get back on
in order.
So episode 2 made me feel so much better after episode 1.
Yeah.
It was, thank God they released both of them. Because did they release both of them at the same time?
They did. They released those 2 at the same time, and then they released 5 and 6 at the same time, and then they released... No, that was it. They just did 2 double episode things.
So episode 2 to me was so much better, not only because, 1, it immediately... The ending proved that they could do a fight scene, which was like my biggest concern out of episode 1.
I was a little...
Better than episode 1's fight scene.
There were so many cuts. Bro.
No, 100%.
It was.
I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm definitely not saying it's even great, but it's better than episode 1's fight scene.
Yeah, that's kind of a low bar.
Yeah, exactly. Like, am I comparing this to literally any of the other fight scenes from the Daredevil show? No.
Yeah, I mean, any other fight scenes, I think those are the worst 2 fights in this show. I think every other fight scene in the show clears those 2.
But I really like the dynamics of the White Tiger, the whole thing with the subway station, the corrupt cops. I was surprised by how much they tackled corrupt police officers this season.
Yeah,
which was so interesting.
Especially Disney. Like, for the old show, like that would have been nothing. But for Disney...
This might have been the reason why they were also kicked off the show, just like how much they pushed us, I guess.
I don't know, because they left it in. They got the Punisher showrunner, who was very much anti-corrupt cop.
Yeah,
in the episodes he did, and in the Punisher show.
Yeah, no, true.
Was very aggressively, so.
But yeah, episode 2 was really great. I really, really liked it. I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was a great way to show the building world after the mess that was episode 1. Especially because I mean we got the tattoos reveal of like the Punisher skull.
Yes, stuff
We got
happened.
White Tiger. We got more of an idea about like certain stuff, and we even got like Matt like convincing the judge like, hey, don't throw him being White Tiger into the case because like that's a normal thing nowadays.
Yeah.
Like I love that they didn't even question like the oh yeah your amulet gives you power. Like they don't make a joke about
Yeah.
it. They're just like your amulet gives you power. Cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that was a little. I got into an argument with my brother because he was like, "Why don't they talk about that?" I'm like,
Who gives
"You're
a
in the
fuck,
MCU.
man,
You're
bro?
in the MCU post Infinity War. Like,
Bro,
fucking,
half of the entirety of the entire
you don't really need
universe
to know the
fucking
details."
died, bro. No
Yeah.
one gives a fuck about an amulet, bro.
Well,
They
not
care if
only that,
another
like you don't
Infinity
need
Stone is
you don't
getting
need to
found.
know the details of what the amulet does, because that's I think what he got caught up on. He was like, "Well, they never explain what the amulet does." It's like
No one
that
gives a
doesn't
fuck.
matter. The point is that he wasn't the superhero. Like he wasn't. It's like Thor didn't have his hammer. It doesn't really matter what the hammer does. He wasn't Thor,
Yeah,
so to speak. Like it just didn't happen. Versus, and I think that was important because it's versus someone like Spider-Man or Matt,
who
where
always have their
there's no,
powers.
they always have their powers, so that would be legally. I think the point is that he needed his amulet, so that's what kind of swung the judge, that it wasn't a mutant situation or something where they are the weapon. It's like, okay, he was just a guy. He was just plainclothes guy at this very moment.
Yeah, he was a normal guy.
I think what I liked about this episode, that is a lot of my criticism of parts of this show, is that what I liked is that stuff happened. Like the story moved forwards in ways that
We're
it
genuinely
happened.
interesting.
Yeah, we're interesting, and I was kind of like, oh shit, okay, now there's like a secret cop conspiracy. Now there's this other superhero. Let's see if he's gonna get out. I care.
Yeah. Also, rest in peace to the actor for the White
Yeah.
Tiger. I didn't know that he died during like after the filming of this. This was like his last role.
Yeah.
He died from pancreatic cancer, I think, or something along those
Wow.
lines.
Yeah, rest in peace to him. He did great.
No, he was phenomenal. I think he was easily one of the highlights of the like I loved how well he portrayed a compassionate guy who just didn't want to take the bullshit of the system.
Yeah, and you got a lot of like who he was as a superhero, because at the end of the day, like superheroes are at the core of this, and you kind
Yeah.
of got his whole vibe and his whole like why he does what he does,
Like
what
one
makes him.
episode.
Yeah, in like 1-2 episodes, and you get it in, and like I think that was really good, and I was glad they did that both in the show and like for the MCU in general, because a lot of MCU stuff is like people only show up if they are big, and if it's a
Yeah.
big, it's an event, it's like, oh, it's that people don't really show up that much just to show up, unless it's like the She-Hulk show or like the Matt Murdock cameo in No Way Home. Other than that, like it's their main characters. Doctor
Yeah.
Strange is the main character, whatever is the main character. Like just have him show up, be a plot point, and then yes, there are other superheroes around. I like the Swordmaster too. Like just bringing him back and not really doing anything for the plot other than like
Just revealing
he's
that he's
another
Swordman.
he's another vigilante in this world full of superheroes and supervillains. Like he's another guy. It
He's just good with a sword.
Yeah, and it makes it feel a little more real, where like you're
They just
kind of
keep
like, oh
popping
yeah,
up.
it would make sense that this New York very street crime, business crime vigilante would show up in the same place that Daredevil would, especially because he also has beef with Kingpin.
Yeah.
Like it just makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on to the next episode though.
Yeah.
Just because we gotta start hurrying this up a little bit.
Yeah.
Uh,
Show's dense.
Yeah. Fisk and Vanessa, I really didn't like their subplot. It was really boring for me. And I think it
Yeah.
really reflects the idea that like it would have been way more interesting to see Fisk rise to power than this like push and pull between him being like good, I'm not good, I'm not good, and then also Vanessa being like just straight up evil. Like
Yeah, I think
even in the original show, she didn't feel straight up evil. She felt more like weirdly enough like his moral compass at times. Like obviously
yeah,
she
like
enabled him.
she was into his evil, but she wasn't like the source of it.
Yeah, she enabled him, but she wasn't the guiding
Yeah,
cause of it.
and I guess I give them a little room because they did establish that
She spent time alone.
she was also like for years the new Kingpin. Like because it was a year between Foggy dying, but it was more than a year
More than that, yeah.
since he got blown up by Hawkeye and then brought back and then like all that's it's
shot
been a
in the
while.
face.
Yeah, shot in the face and shot in the face again. Like,
which is funny that they kept the scar on his face
Yeah.
the entire time. But I really like the court case. I really like the whole thing with like the witness being tampered.
Yeah, that's where I was like, oh, okay, this is Daredevil again. This is because the original show was like a little bit crime show, a little bit law show, a little bit superhero show. This is where I was like, okay, they're starting to hit the little, and I was so glad it wasn't the She-Hulk level of lawyering, because it was fine for She-Hulk. That was more of a comedy show.
Yeah, that was a comedy show. But this was way more serious, and I liked it.
This was like, oh, it sounds like lawyers. They're starting to say stuff that I don't even understand.
And also, like, and then the ending was really good. Like, just like the brutal of like his death.
Yeah.
And then just immediately showing the logo, the Punisher logo, and it's like, and immediately you're like, oh, that's a cop.
That's a cop, and that's a big, because obviously you're like, no, it's not Frank. But then it also brings in like the, okay, well, someone's got to tell Frank. And how the fuck is Frank going to react? Because Frank's going to crash out.
Crash out is an understatement.
Yeah. But, like, someone's going to have to tell Frank. Someone's going to have to see what's going on with Frank. Because, like, does Frank know about these cops? Is he onto them? Does he not know about them? How pissed off is he going to be?
Yeah. So, moving on, though, to episode 4. Yeah.
To Frank.
I really liked him in this scene. This scene was probably the best scene in the entire show, straight up.
Yeah, and I
love that moment where Matt punches him and then he's like, sorry.
Yeah, well, not like just in writing, in like
acting,
really turning the story to, from what we were saying earlier, of like Matt seems almost content to be not Daredevil, to Frank kind of calling him out on that and being like, you're a hypocrite.
Yeah,
and you're just kind of like, you have the
also it confirms that he knew the entire time that Matt was Daredevil.
Yeah,
which was something that they hinted at in season 2. Like,
that was a little bit of a subtle thing that I maybe would have liked a little bit more of, like a moment of like recognizing that.
I don't know. I liked it. Well, like the whole point is that like he recognized it in the courtroom when he said 1 penny, 2 penny, and it's like, wait, you know about that?
Yeah.
How do you know about that? That makes no sense. I only told one guy who's still alive.
Yeah.
Everyone else is dead.
Yeah.
But
like,
yeah, no.
But that was good. He was almost like, I want to say, Frank was a little bit of like a weird fucked up Uncle Ben moment.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Saying like, you have this power,
but you're not taking any responsibility.
You're not taking any responsibility, and now you're blaming me because some crazy guy shot him and used my like stupid skull thing. Like,
which is still like Frank, that's still on you, but regardless. But I like that the show even acknowledges that still, though, because it's like the show doesn't go, Frank is right fully. It's like, no, both of them bring up valid points.
Yeah. Frank's hiding out in the fucking bunker somewhere, like stocking up on weapons to do another mass shooting.
He's plotting, bro. He's plotting some mischievous fucking deeds.
Yeah. And I think that one was really good. And again, another one where like stuff happened. I was excited. I was like, oh shit.
Well, okay. So that's the thing. I don't think that episode was the best outside of that scene. Because outside of that scene, we only had the thing with the niece. We had, basically, it was mostly Fisk and Vanessa, like, episode for the most part. And it was mostly about,
by the way,
Blake,
that niece is totally the new White Tiger, right?
Yeah, no. She's definitely...
That's totally, like, they gave her so much screen time.
Also,
like,
she was
right
good.
Off the bat.
The actress was really good. She was really good.
And I think it would be cool to have, like, a separate... I don't know how Marvel's going to fit in all of these, like... And I'd be okay if she was just, like, not going to show up again. Like, they don't do a White Tiger show or something.
I would hope that she would be a supporting character for Daredevil for a bit, because I would like
but I wouldn't mind if she showed up also. And I do want a little bit more... We'll talk about that in the last episode. But I want a little bit more crossover with, like, the characters who should be together. White Tiger, Punisher, Daredevil, Spider-Man, Heroes for Hire. Like, I want a little bit more of that. And... like the last episode, like where the fuck was everyone?
But yeah, so episode 4 though didn't really do that much. It ends with like Matt like practicing with the billy clubs, which with the other episodes now in retrospect feels even less like okay. Like it felt like this was the moment that he was about to turn into Daredevil, but then he doesn't.
And that was what a little bit like. There's sort of a teasing too much. They're sort of
Yeah.
they're edging it a little too much, where they're like, he killed him. There's something going on. The cops are here. Oh, he wants to go back to Daredevil. He wants to go back to Daredevil. He wants to do it. It's gonna happen. Any episode now, any 2 episodes now, like they're gonna discover what the conspiracy
It's
is.
the MCU like TV show problem where they have to tease stuff and really just be like, "Hey guys, we're gonna really let this build up sometimes." But I also do like that they gave it. I both understand the gripes, but I also like the amount of room they gave it because it felt more like, oh no, this is the moment that crosses the line for Matt.
Yeah, and he's still in there. It's sort of the like Frank was right. Frank wasn't just like kind of grasping. Like he saw it. He saw that Matt was still kind of trying to go back into it.
But then episode 4 ends with the whole Adam thing, which I don't give a fuck about.
Yeah,
And
it's a little
Muse
weird.
draining
Again,
blood
that's
from
the sort of like the Adam thing is the sort of like, oh well, Fisk isn't a nice guy. Actually, we spent so much time trying to make you think that he was a nice guy, and now he's not.
Also, I don't
And
give a
it's like,
fuck about his
okay,
assistant, my guy. I really could give less of a shit about that one guy. His accent's so
the
fucking annoying.
baby soprano.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah,
Yeah, his name's
Gandolfini's
Daniel
son.
Blake.
He's Gandolfini's son.
Is he actually?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah, the
god,
actor. Yeah, that's probably why they
God,
put so much.
he's awful.
Yeah, I didn't mind
His character is so fucking annoying, and not in the
Yeah.
fun like you love to like you love to hate him type of way. It's just like, bro, like
He's
I don't
the
give a fuck
really
about your scenes.
he's the really like he's the knockoff version of the kid from Penguin.
Yeah, no, he
He's
literally
just
is.
like kind of the mini Kingpin, but
He's
like
the
he doesn't
mini.
have any of the
He's
charm
Victor
or
Light.
yeah, he's light like he doesn't have any of the charm or the like emotion or the smarts of him. He's just kind of like fumbling
Let's hope that
around, but
Fisk
Kingpin
kills him
likes
at the
him.
end. Spoilers
Yeah.
for Penguin. But
Yeah.
anyway, moving on. Episode 5. I actually really like this episode. I really liked it. I actually really like the idea of like them being a bottle episode where Matt has to take out bank robbers without revealing his identity. I like the whole thing with the bank, and I like the bringing in Miss Marvel's
This also
dad.
ties into oh my god, custom Funko Pop of Miss Marvel. Shut the fuck up, Kevin Feige. That was totally written by you. We know you signed it and everything. You needed the toy check. I get it. Go away. The show
Had to
was
flex
like
the merch real quick.
like, dude, come on. And
I don't know. Well, you see, okay, you know, I'm gonna defend it, you know?
That
because,
line.
No.
Look, I don't mind
no,
the
wait,
character being there.
No. Let me defend
Okay.
that line specifically. It's a father trying to show support to his daughter. You can't tell me that a father doesn't wear a jersey to his daughter's soccer games. This is the equivalent of that in the most crazy sense. This is soccer dad energy. Yusuf. His name is Yusuf. I don't know. I as someone who's the son of immigrants, it was perfectly.
So am I. So am I.
Oh wait, are you?
Like,
I didn't.
Yeah. Check yourself. It fit, but again, the last couple episodes was sort of building this conspiracy just to like hit a speed bump and
I don't
sort
know.
of be like.
I thought it was a good like breath of fresh air, especially because it was just like it was a fun bottle episode. I think every show needs like a bottle episode where you just have like one situation and the characters are trapped.
I think, and maybe this is a little harsh. Like again, I like the episode as its own thing. And watching the episode, I came out of it. I was like, I like that episode. I really like that episode. It was at the time, it was like I think one of my favorites. I think it wasn't like, but with only 9 episodes, doing a bottle episode that doesn't sort of do anything. Like we already had Matt deciding he was going to be Daredevil. We already had the plot of crime's kind of on the rise because Kingpin isn't around. Which, side note, also the subplot with the like gang boss that kept
Yeah, that
trying to
was pointless.
put,
It was
it
just
was like,
more. Well, that's what I'm talking about. Wilson's plot lines, whatever. But
yeah,
this
there
was
was a
like an
lot of like,
interesting way to incorporate that, though. Like in comparison to literally every other part of that subplot, I could give less of a fuck about. This was the most interesting part.
yeah, but like looking at it holistically, like the whole show, this episode felt very much like nothing happened, nothing new happened. Like
I
you
don't
could have
know.
taken this, you could
I,
skip this episode in watching the like a bottle
yeah.
episode is fine. The whole thing is in one build, that's fine. But at least have something that lasts. Like you could just delete this episode from the season and you would not lose any plot. Like nothing,
I don't
you would
know.
not be
It's for
confused.
me. For me, it's just it's really good characterization of Matt within the actual MCU, like interacting with other people.
Yeah.
I I gotta just I gotta defend this episode. It's just for me, it's a lot more interesting. It feels like something that would have appeared in the original Netflix show. Like obviously it would have been like way darker lit and like half of the cast would not have been there because they couldn't have afforded them. But like and they would have probably built a practical leg to break it. But
I
like it felt very like natural
yeah.
for that. But I
I
can
just personally would have liked more of a like if I could
yeah, well your
if I could
opinion's dumb.
yeah, if I could armchair rewrite part of a season, I would have just to tie it in a little bit more of a same exact episode, but have it like
20 more leg breaks.
no, have
Just
it like
in
Kingpin
rapid
is
succession, we just have 20 men lined up for Matt to just like keep doing the jump leg
yeah,
break.
yeah, just keep
He
jumping
just
on his
keeps
leg.
breaking the leg, and it's like
Yeah.
the entire police
They
force
just
gets all their.
have the criminal have like a Wolverine healing factor where the second it heals he
He's
jumps
just
on it again.
constantly getting it re-healed.
He just keeps doing. No, I would
God.
say like the like to tie. I just wanted to tie it in more. Have it be something like, oh, Kingpin had this guy rob the bank on purpose because he wants it to be like, oh, crime is up and I'm the mayor gonna save it. Like have it just do something, and you can leave the episode the same. Just have it more tying into the overall story of like Kingpin as mayor, which again is part of just the Kingpin plot. Is just like doesn't really do a lot of the time.
Moving
Just
on,
kind of going around.
episode 6 because we do have to finish this
Yeah,
review.
we do.
And I'm gonna go
But
through this significantly.
this is where the show starts speeding up, which I think is
Yes,
also
true.
good for us, where it just kind of goes.
So this is where the whole thing with Muse happens, where Ayala gets kidnapped, and basically she gets kidnapped by Muse. Muse becomes way more of an actual character. Fisk builds up the anti-vigilante task force, and Matt really crashes out for what? Okay, was it just me? Or did it feel like the Muse anger came out of nowhere for him? It felt like
Yeah.
the Muse was supposed to be like set up way earlier, and he like killed someone that maybe he knew,
I mean,
and then it
Muse
was
came
supposed.
out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean,
Muse just kind of showed
true.
up a lot, like no, in the
Four.
Punisher episode,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
The episode 4, he just kind of showed up
at the end,
at the
Dragon
end,
Blood.
and he had the little hint of like, I don't remember which episode. I think it might have been the Punisher episode again.
No,
like
it was the
skinny,
Punisher episode. That's what I'm saying.
No, but like skinny white boy shows up to Heather's book signing.
Oh no, that was
and it's
like episode 1.
or episode 1.
That was
yeah,
like episode 1 where they literally show it because
he was
that's
kind of
like
dropped in a
it's like
couple
the scene
times.
right after Heather's introduced too.
Yeah, he was kind of dropped in a couple times, but he just kind of shows up and then dies, and just kind of, and for all of the like hype and advertising of like, we got Muse, we got the, I don't know anything about Muse in the comics, but I saw you guys, you and Elias talking about it, how he looked cool, and I saw a lot of people going like, oh, exciting, Muse, we're gonna see what this looks like, and he just kind of shows up and leaves in 90%
in the
of his
comics,
plot in one episode.
He doesn't last long as a villain. He's like only like 4 issues. Like he's a very short span. The reason why he left such a impact was because one, I mean, his look is amazing.
Yeah, he does look cool.
The thing that he's doing is horrific, but also the fact that it was more of a murder mystery than just Matt finds him so easily.
Yeah.
Like way too easily, in my opinion. Like Matt finds him within literally he points it out later. It's like I found him within 1 day. It's like, bro, how the fuck did you find him?
Well, because there was also another Uncle Ben moment with what's her name? Ayala, right?
Yeah.
Where she was like, "Oh, isn't someone gonna do something? I mean, my uncle knew exactly where he was and was tracking him down." And it's like, okay, I like that idea of Matt kind of like, he fucked up before, so he's just picking up where White Tiger left off. But it just kind of happened so quickly that, like, all in one episode, at least like establish the murders, not just that one scene of like in episode 4, but establish like publicly that there's murders. Like, have that scene where like the cleaning guy goes to Kingpin and is like, hey, they're human blood. Have that be in episode 4. And then give us a little bit of time where like people are just kind of like, oh, there's a murderer out there. And then episode 6 is like, okay, then he's also, we found him.
Matt, that isn't how you give CPR. Yeah. You don't slam on someone's chest and then they resuscitate. That's how you break her rib cage and how she dies.
That's how he broke their legs. I'm just imagining him jumping on her with the same like
just the same motion. Feet. Nah, he's like crazy. Also,
he really does crash out.
Man,
really
Muse. I hate that they later explain it that Muse knows how to fight because he took Taekwondo. It's like, bro, Muse shouldn't be able to fight. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you should not. I do not care if you're like so a double Taekwondo black fight.
I'm just like
black belt. I don't care if you're a double black belt in like Taekwondo, Jiu-Jitsu. He's a ninja. Daredevil's a ninja. There should not be that many people who can just
fight him.
I mean,
he even beat Iron Fist. Like the fuck.
Yeah, like
who was supposed to be like the god of basically all martial arts.
Like there should be a couple. There should be only a couple characters who don't have powers that should keep up with you.
Yeah, Muse should have been just like more of like, I set up traps. And was like, it would have been way more interesting if he was less fighting Matt and more of like, oh, I'll push you over here where I set up this specific thing. Yeah. Oh, and now you can't move unless she like dies or something like that. Like,
yeah, or like,
and then I get to walk away. Like, it would have been, I don't know. It just felt very like, anyway,
and
moving on.
Episode 7. He comes back again. 7.
He comes back again. He goes after.
I was so like, okay, this is where things are gonna maybe tie together. The whole Kingpin therapy arc. Like, okay, Muse has this weird obsession with Kingpin that he's gonna go.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about it. That's funny. I didn't even crash.
Was like,
the fact that like my brain didn't even like go, oh yeah, he was criticizing Kingpin. I completely forgot about that.
Every single
because
thing
it's such a non-plot thing.
Every single like piece of art, which they later say, like all of the really cool graffiti that was all over the city was all Muse. So
also, way to immediately ruin your messaging.
yeah. It's like,
guys, I'm gonna make anti-capitalist art, but I'm gonna do it in blood.
Yeah, it's like
of poor people.
And I was so ready. So here's what I thought going into this episode, and like halfway through this episode, I was like, okay, here's how it comes together. He hates Kingpin. Kingpin, in his big reign of terror in the last shows, probably like killed his dad or something. And now he's after Kingpin. He's obsessed. He's like, I'm going to kill Kingpin. So he's like, okay, where can I kill Kingpin? Well, the only place he doesn't have his bodyguards is in therapy. Let me get friendly with his therapist, and then I could sneak up on him in therapy. That's where I thought it was going. Nope. Kingpin.
So I knew that Muse was a serial killer from the get-go. Yeah. So it didn't really. For me, like, I guess that's why I never thought of it that way.
I mean, being a serial killer is one thing, but I thought he was like a serial killer who also wanted to kill Kingpin. Because again, why is all of his art so much like "fuck you, Kingpin"? "Fuck you"?
No,
Fist?
True. No. That is a very valid point.
And then it turns out his obsession is with Heather. Like he's just like, Heather, you're the key. I'm obsessed with you.
Also, Heather just fucking kills him, which is interesting.
Yeah, and like she just kills it. Like Daredevil shows up and saves her. She's totally also, about to get murked.
Bro, like, how did he know that she was in danger? But also, like, how did he not give a fuck about like swinging through New York during the light of day? Like, we've literally never seen him during the day.
God, that swinging effect looks so goofy. Like
it does. But I mean, looks like we could talk about the effects.
Yeah, we could talk about the effects so much. That should be a separate video. We should just break down the effects.
But
like he just jumps in and they fight, and again they have another giant action fight where Taekwondo Man, keeps up with literal ninja Daredevil.
Yeah, but I was going to say, though, the anti-vigilante task force takes more of a step up. They get the whole plot.
They're real.
Swingingly, like they basically get the credit for the kill. And then, obviously, the whole Fisk and Vanessa plotline is kind of just, like, done because, like, Luca dies. Moving on to episode 8, though. Now we have Dex being moved into Gen Pop.
And these are the 2 brand new episodes again. Which,
yes.
right off the bat, it feels different.
Yeah. So we get Blake getting promoted. We get Matt learning that Fisk is Heather's patient, learning about the whole ball, learning that like Fisk is trying to quote unquote silence Dex, which is later revealed to not be Wilson Fisk, but Vanessa Fisk. Which was a good twist on
cool
that.
Twist. It feels like so much more happened in this episode than in the entire season.
Yeah. I also like the entirety of the breakout for Dex. That was really cool. Like the tooth and immediately go just like spitting it. It's like, bro.
I liked how in the scene before that, like the Matt and Dex talking in
that was really
prison.
good.
I really liked that, especially like I feel like through this video I've been a lot of like it's not like the original show, it sucks, but like I really liked how different it was of like Matt is absolutely just tweaking out. He is fucked up and he is not thinking straight, and he's pretty much the reason why Dex got out. Like I loved it. I loved
him,
how
much he hated Dex.
Yeah, I love seeing Matt just completely just messed up over everything. It's something that you don't see, that we haven't seen a lot.
Also, are we supposed to understand that Dex doesn't know that he's Daredevil? Is that what we're supposed to understand? I'm still confused about that because the way they...
Yeah, I thought it was...
I was very confused because, I mean, he slammed his head without, like, using his walking stick, and that was, like, really weird. But then also, like...
For most of it, I thought it was just going to be, like... Like, I thought it was going to be brushed off as, like, Dex is just like, well, I killed this guy's best friend. He fucking hates me.
Yeah.
But then he, like, bashes his head together, and Dex just doesn't fucking...
Yeah, he's like, man, I wonder how this blind lawyer just did that.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's what all blind lawyers do, you know. Smash their clients' heads in. Anyway, the Anti-Vigilante Task Force. This is when the Anti-Vigilante Task Force started to really start losing its punch for me, because it was like, oh man, guys, they're bad cops. Don't you get it? They're bad cops. They're bad apples, guys. Hey, we're trying to tell you, it's only a few bad cops. It's only a few bad cops. They're really evil guys. They're putting a guy's hand into oil. They're really evil. They're just a few of the cops that are really bad.
You know what? I was about to disagree with you. I was about to be like, no, they didn't. But then I realized they did in that episode to immediately verse it the next episode where they're like, no, all the cops are fucked up. All the cops are, or every cop is doing this now, which is a weird thing to do, because episode 8, they're very much like the task force are the bad guys. And then episode 9, they're like, everyone's the bad guys. All the police are the bad guys.
Well, it's because they quote unquote got rid of they got rid of the chief, who was like the quote unquote last good cop in the force. And
or as we see at the end of episode 9, the army is like 8 cops, which are like, I guess, the only good ones on NYPD, which accurate, but also like,
yeah, it just felt very like ham-fisted, and it was like, you don't have to make them comically evil to make the point.
I do think that the Friar thing wasn't
the Friar thing was my main gripe. Like the thing of like them killing the kid later and like being like, oh no, I saw a vigilante. Like that to me was way more of like, there you go, that's how you do it, versus sticking a guy's hand in a friar.
It was mostly just to highlight like,
guys, we can do it
in control now. Kingpin's in control now. Like, they don't, like, I mean, he's straight up said, he's like, I don't answer to you anymore. And I think that was maybe the main point of them being so extreme. Was just
they could have done that without the fire. It's just, the fire was just it was just a tad too much. And it was like, if you had just punched him and then like kicked him, like that would have had the same effect, versus literally like dipping his hand in and being like, visual effects artist, make his hand red and make it huge and make it look like he has tons of blisters. And it's like, bro, you're giving so much extra work for no reason.
Yeah.
On like a thing, like, you could have literally just given him like a bloody nose, and that would have been like the same effect.
Yeah, and I do agree that there are other ways to do it. I'm not, willing to write off that whole episode because I think overall it was a good episode.
Oh yeah, no. I that's my like biggest gripe with it.
I love and hate that episode because I love that so much exciting stuff happened. There were a lot of moving parts, and it felt again like things were coming together, and it sort of retroactively was cleaning up a lot of the problems with the episode 1. Why did Dex just show up and start murdering everyone? That's not his typical, that's not how Dex works. And then this episode's sort of answering that. Okay, what is Kingpin, why is he being mayor? This is sort of answering that. the fuck is going on with
I
the
wish
task
we
force?
knew
Like,
more about Foggy's case. That would have helped. We
yeah,
didn't even know what was happening with that case at all.
yeah.
Also,
I'm hoping season 2 like sort of goes into that a little more because
uh,
it's what kicked off everything.
yeah. But last thing for episode 8, and then we can go into episode 9, and then
Yeah.
we can close out this video
Yeah.
because thank you guys for listening this long. Or maybe you're just sleeping
Maybe
and listening to us
you're
rant.
eating lunch. Well, we're at an
Yeah,
hour now. It's two half-hour lunches. I mean,
yeah,
look, the people watching this are probably Daredevil fans, so they really love just watching two people just have a conversation.
yeah.
They just love that.
But I was gonna say Matt jumping in front of the bullet was cool. I really like that.
That was cool.
I also really like the whole tension with Dex getting the gun and you be like, oh well, okay.
Yeah,
And
there's
like
a
I
lot
didn't
of
know
like
who he was gonna shoot at
which
first
one is he
either.
gonna shoot? I also something that I noticed immediately, and I wrote down everything. I really love how stylistic that episode was. Like Dex having
Yeah, it got really blue during
Daredevil
his
vision or whatever.
scenes.
You know, I really like that because I feel like a lot of times, and the MCU a lot of times gets this wrong, where they're like, "Oh, this is a serious show, so everything has to be gray and depressing and have no style
Monochromatic, yeah.
and be so uber realistic." Where it's like you can be serious and also have really cool stuff. The music and the blue and red. And
Oh yeah,
everything
like
going on
the last
is yeah, you can do that. You can totally do that, and it's awesome. Like it's so exciting and cool looking, and it's like, yeah, that's great. I love
them
that.
closing out with that one song was cool.
Yeah,
And then opening up the next episode with that song again,
with that song is
it was
good.
like,
And
oh, okay, cool.
the last thing I want to say with episode 8 was I love that it did so much. I love that it was so good, but it sort of pissed me off because I was like, why is all of this only happening in one episode? Why are we now getting so much plot and so much important stuff happening in one episode, second to last episode, instead of throughout the season like a normal show works? I know why, and that's why I was so much like, we have to talk about why the show was made the way it is. But it frustrated me a little bit because I was like, so they can do it. They can make it really good. They just didn't.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on to episode 9. Matt,
Karen.
Yeah, Karen's back.
Karen's back.
Man, just immediately made me go, man, I really could give less of a shit about Heather. Yeah. And also, she just disappears this episode, basically after the intro. Like Wait, she literally.
What's the lawyer girl's name?
God,
you looked it up in the beginning of this video, and you already forgot. Kirsten. You go. Kirsten. Yeah, you looked it up when we started this video.
I know.
And you already forgot that there. But Karen, dog, I am never forgetting who that is. I feel like I know her in real life.
And they even hint at more relationship drama with them, where it's like, oh, your heart when you saw me. Yeah, like, that must have been the adrenaline. I was like, oh.
Yeah, and I love
her
Punisher
so much. Her actress is so good.
I love Frank and Matt and Karen, like their relationship, the three of them,
so unique,
being so unique and so like.
I hope they don't push a love triangle though, Frank, because
they all got like a weird platonic love triangle where they all really care about each other, but all of them are too stubborn to admit it, except Karen.
Well, I like that Frank always viewed her as less of like a romantic thing and more of like, this is my, like, she's like the one last surviving family member almost.
Yeah.
Like I prefer that view of that being like, this is the first person that actually gave me a chance.
Yeah, and I like the idea of, and I totally knew, like when Frank showed up, he's like, oh, someone asked me a favor to get you out. I'm like, it's Karen, because there's only one person in the world.
There's only one person he would do anything for.
Actually, I think there's only two people. I think the other one is probably Matt. I think it's probably.
I don't even think he would do it for Matt. Karen is such an important person for him.
Yeah.
Like, she appears in his fucking first season, bro. Like, you know how important you have to be to, like, cross over from another show?
I think if it was something where if Matt called him up out of the blue and was like, look, this person needs help. Inkpin's out to get them. Please keep them alive. I think Frank would complain. He'd be like, I don't want to do your shit, Red, blah, blah, blah. But he'd do it. I think he'd do it. He'd make a big stink, but I think he'd do it. And I think that's a little bit what they hinted on in this episode, because this is we have 8 episodes of Daredevil and 1 episode of Punisher.
Yeah, this is just a Punisher episode,
which is a really good episode, but it was so like,
it's a little bit too much Punisher in my opinion. It's
that
you can tell that the showrunner was the now that I know that, it's like, oh, wow, okay, this makes so much more sense.
I think that first chunk with Punisher was good. Like, leave that.
It just kept going a little bit too much.
the second chunk of Punisher, like once they leave his base, once they have a plan,
I
that's
think
it.
he should have
Frank should
not
be
been in
gone.
the rest of the episode.
Frank should be gone. Have him in the end credits as one of the guys that gets captured. We don't need to see how he gets captured. Like we get it. And for me, at least, part of it is that like they so wanted to do the big Punisher speech where, because in the comics, like him talking to the corrupt cops that were all pro Punisher, like
which I like that, but like
I like that, but
save it.
And also the speech that he did was not as good.
No, it was not good. It was like,
it was not as good. Dude,
you guys,
just rip the one from the comics. Just rip the one from
but
the
it was
comics.
also like, you guys think you know my pain, and it's like, bro,
he said you guys are clowns a whole lot.
Yeah, like, bro, you're not giving them a reason though.
Yeah, like
I get that that's like,
if
the
it was a
point
better speech, I would have been okay with that.
Like
happening.
The thing is that like I get that's the point, is that like he doesn't have a reason because he would be criticizing himself, but make that obvious.
But even then,
acting wise and even script wise, like that speech should have so much more layers to it.
Don't make it about his pain. Make it about something bigger. Make it about like, because the one in the comics, he pretty much says, he's like, I only exist because you guys don't do your fucking jobs.
Yeah.
Because you guys suck. Have him just straight up say that. Have him turn it around on them and be like, you guys are not the great heroes. You guys think you're the heroes,
but you're literally helping the kingpin of crime.
Yeah, and just have it turn it around on that, and then have these guys be so far gone that they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know, have it just be like, oh, I don't care, I'll kill. Because it just felt very weird of like, oh, I want you, Frank. We all idolize you. Please join us. You guys are clowns. All right, we're going to kill you now. Like,
well, no, they didn't even kill him though. That's the thing.
Yeah, we're just gonna beat you up now. It's like,
we're gonna beat you up and lock you up, which felt like,
do you
also
idolize him
like,
or do you not?
I was so confused because I was like, why the fuck are you guys keeping him alive? Why are you guys keeping him alive after he's already killed like 4 of your people?
And I thought it was gonna be something like, okay, now Matt shows up and saves Frank.
Him as a reverse.
As like okay, we do the same thing the other.
Nah,
but
bro,
like,
no,
Matt
busy.
doesn't even fucking know that he got captured.
Files. Also, I will say I really didn't like the fight scene with the visual effects for this episode were really bad, and it's really obvious. Like the house exploding is really bad. The whole like all the gore stuff, except for
the house exploding that much, like a massive explosion from a single grenade. Is like, I know that this is like Hollywood. Grenade. I know it's Hollywood stuff that explosions are always like twice as large, but that was
not twice. That was like 30 times larger.
Yeah, that building was like they I
didn't even. That's funny because because
he goes grenade and they all jump out.
I had completely blanked that was caused by a single grenade, which is so funny.
It was like, unless the guy threw the whole fucking bundle of grenades in there at once.
Bro, hey, don't judge Matt, but he really likes to leave his stove lighter on the entire time. He likes to fill up his house with so much gas.
There was so much gas, but luckily it was the type of gas that doesn't go off when Frank is shooting guns like crazy. Yeah. It's explicitly grenade gas.
It's only grenade gas.
It's just grenade gas.
But
he pays extra for it.
And no, I really hated the visual effects when like Frank was like, it was just like way too overprocessed, and it just looked really bad. But then later, that same episode, they did way too good of a job with Kingpin's kill.
Yeah, it was like crushing the guy's head was just like, whoa.
And you can tell they did it practically partially, which is like, why didn't you do that for the actual fight? Like, I didn't need this to be that gory.
And also look, man, we don't need to see this guy's head explode. We're not watching fucking Scanners. Like, we don't.
Yeah, like,
we don't.
I'm good.
I'm
down for mature. Like, this is
the famous Kingpin kill of him cutting the guy's head off in the door.
Shown fully.
You don't see it because it's scarier when you don't see it.
It's left to the imagination, which is way more interesting.
Yeah, but this one we have to see is like, really? Like,
also
really that necessary?
It's just like so ridiculous. It's like comical. It's just like,
and again, he's super evil now.
I'm so strong. I can just crush a guy's skull.
Yeah,
with my bare. It was just like, okay, but also like, it was over detailed, which sounds like I'm like being like the opposite of like being like, oh man, they're under detailed one moment and over detailed the other. But it's like that effort should have been put in the opposite scene. And that should have just been done off screen, like just show Kingpin, like when the body, like that shot of like the blood dripping down and then like the body dropping. That's all you need to show.
Yeah,
and you would have gotten the same vibe. But I really didn't like that.
There's a weird thing about that I'm thinking about now with the Kingpin and Vanessa plot is that it's a lot of really manufactured drama
No, it
of
literally is. It's
of
so
like
surface level.
she's so like, why aren't you back into the business, into crime, like why are you going so hard? And in the last episode he's like, well actually my plan was, it's a massive free port, we're gonna basically make the new Tortuga and like
Which
a crime empire, which is honestly a cool sound plan. That like, why did you not just tell Vanessa that from
I
day
don't know.
one?
I think the idea of a free port is a little bit too
It's a little bit
complex
thin of
for
like a
for
thing from
people
1800s.
for people to understand that. It's a little bit too bullshit for me. Like it's like it would be
Yeah.
way more realistic if he was like, I'm going to declare martial law permanently, and like we're turning
Well,
off the power
no,
permanently for like a week.
maybe, but I think that's, for me, less believable, because it's like, dude, because now you're gonna have the fucking government stepping in, you're gonna have the fucking Avengers stepping in,
I
you're gonna
mean,
have crazy shit.
the
Like
whole point
one
was that
day
like the
you could,
government wasn't stepping in regardless. Like,
I
and I
mean,
mean that would be a
one
next
day you
season
can
problem.
blame Dex or whatever. One day you can blame the vigilantes, but like a whole week or
But
longer
that would
is
be.
like,
But you can't tell me that wouldn't be an interesting subplot for like season 2. Him having to like weasel his way out of
it
the federal
would. That's
government.
like that one Batman one. I don't remember what it is, but the
Batman
one,
0 Year.
yeah, 0 year, like
No, that's what
when
I'm thinking. Like having like the
just
all
shut off the whole city.
everything like that would be so cool, and it would feel more
Yeah.
less. It
But
would be less
here's,
complicated. People would get it.
I
People
mean,
would be like, "Oh, okay."
even one day is a lot. But I don't think it was that it was complicated. I think it's just that it kind of shows up out of nowhere
That
in
too,
these last
because
two episodes. I
Foggy's
think if
case.
they had in the beginning, look, you're gonna do all of this stuff where you're gonna show us Kingpin stuff. You're gonna show us Kingpin's side of the story. Just tell us what he's doing from day one. We know he's bad guy. We get it. We've seen all of the shows. You don't need to pretend he's maybe a good guy. Like, just tell us day one, Kingpin's trying to get everyone to love him so he can establish a criminal free port. Great.
Well, that's
Do
the
that
funny
day
thing
one and
though.
have
Like
Matt
he
not be the
didn't
one
even
who knows.
plan that. That's the funniest thing because like
Yeah.
this was the thing of like I've always used this, and it's like so you were genuinely trying to.
So you just
It's
figured it
really
out
confusing.
halfway through. Like, it's, yeah, it's very much like, dude, just like so many problems would be fixed if just episode one, like Vanessa's like, Wilson, why the fuck are you running for mayor? And he's like, well, I'm just trying to legalize their criminal operations, essentially. Then it's just like, oh, okay, that makes sense. All of this makes sense. You have, and then you can do a dynamic where maybe their relationship is still strained, but now maybe Vanessa is like, yeah, but he has a good plan, so I'm gonna try and like see it through. Like,
I'm gonna
do
trust
something like
him.
that.
Give him
I'm gonna
confide
trust
in
him
him.
because, he was a shitty husband, but he's still a pretty good business partner, something like that.
And then Punisher escapes at the mid credit scene,
Yeah, which
and
is like, okay, so then
it's
why
like
did he get
cool. Okay,
captured?
well, they're doing that because the Punisher special.
Yeah, but like, why do you have him be captured in the first place then? Just
Yeah,
have
no,
him
it was
not,
just like
again, just end Punisher's like cameo when Karen and Matt leave his base.
yeah,
And
it would
that's
have
it.
felt
He
more of a
wishes them
proper send
luck.
off.
He wishes them luck because that. So he goes, he fights the cops, he gets beaten, he winds up in a cage, he escapes from point A.
Literally nothing has changed.
Frank is free. From point B, Frank is free. Like, nothing that happened in there, and it's not like he even gained anything from going.
Yeah, he
He
didn't
didn't
gain
go
any
to King.
knowledge.
He didn't go to Kingpin's base and like steal a secret plan or something.
He
He
didn't
just
have an
went
interesting
and
convo
left.
with the cops. Like,
He shook one guy's hand. Like, that's what he did. He shook the one
Yeah.
guy's hand and then broke it. Like, I don't
anyway,
know. And I don't mean to be Marvel brained about this last episode. I really don't want to be MCU brained, but you do a big speech at the end with Matt going, "We need an army. He's banning all vigilantes, and we need an army because the cops are all evil. We've established the cops are all evil. No one can do anything. We need vigilantes. All right, great. Defenders are coming back. We got Heroes for Hire. Where's Jessica Jones? Where's Luke Cage? Where's fucking Spider-Man? We just got the new Spider-Man announced. Give us just like a you don't even have to see Tom Holland. Just give it like Spider-Man fucking swings up above doing something. Where the fuck is Kate Bishop? Where's Echo? Because we know they fucking hate Kingpin. That they got beef and they're New York here. Like, where's Miss Marvel? Where's fucking White Tiger Girl? Have her just get the
I
thing.
definitely agree with the Luke Cage and Jessica Jones and all them coming back.
Anyone.
I
And then
get
you
why
go
they didn't
in.
do Spider-Man because literally it's television rights.
Yeah,
It's
television
stupid.
rights.
But
But what I mean is like anyone.
Yeah, literally.
Do anything at all.
No,
and what did we get?
But what if
There's like 8 cops and Sherry.
What if we included the good cops?
Yeah. There's like, we need an army, Sherry and his drinking buddies.
I know that we've talked a lot about the show. Obviously, you can tell that it is interesting. It is very, very interesting.
But it's good.
Yeah,
I think overall it's good. It's worth watching.
Yeah. I think this is better than season 2 in my opinion, but worse than like season 1 or season 3, which isn't bad. For me, it's got to be 3.5 broken legs out of 5. Just like shattered femurs.
Yeah, it's gonna be 3.5 mystical amulets for me.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. There you go. But yeah, so tell us down below what you guys think of the show. Are you guys excited for Thunderbolts? Are you excited for the other stuff that's coming out? Fantastic Four? Are you excited for the for the DC shows that are going to be coming out?
For the Punisher,
the Punisher special presentation.
Punisher special, yeah.
Which
whenever it's coming out.
I will die on this hill that they should do the Marvel 2-in-1, but that is my. We can talk about that another day because this video is long enough. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Remember to like, subscribe, support your local comic shop, and read comics. See you.